Hey fam! Welcome to our YouTube channel,
The A fam.
The A Fam. You already know.
Yep.
Long time no see. Is that what Nigerians say?
Long time no shoot.
Long time no shoot, guys.
Yeah.
Just a quick update. Obviously, we had a baby. We went back to work after 4 months of leave.
Yep.
And life has been going on, settling in as working parents. That felt good.
I know.
And
Still
so
trying to get used to that term.
yeah,
Working parent.
yeah. I'm a man, my baby, my daughter. It's just amazing. And so we didn't abandon YouTube. We
Yeah.
definitely had it in mind. So we decided to record today. What are we talking about today?
Well, yeah, postpartum. Just catching up on where we stopped from the last video. Sharing our journey through, just having the baby in our hands, what that looks like for us, taking care of the baby, taking care of ourselves, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah. And then marriage, after childbirth, and all the even like how yourself taking care of yourself and then a new life. So I don't even know where to start. I think we should start from having that baby. So we had Amana. Amana came to this world 7 weeks early, which meant that she needed to stay in the NICU. And for people who don't know what the NICU is, it's neonatal intensive care unit. So it's like ICU, but for babies. So she needed to stay in the NICU. And that's how our parenting journey started. It basically started with waking up every day, packing what you can pack, and going to the hospital to sit by the side of our baby for like 10 hours every day. Saying it like that brings it to perspective. And I think I and Emmanuel, we just meant, we have a baby, let's go. Let's go. I remember attending one event 1 week after we had Amana. And I was telling people, I had a baby last week Saturday. And they were like, oh my God, oh my God. And I didn't realize what I said, obviously, until Amana came home and I had time to, take stock. So those NICU days, how was it for you?
For me, I was the one fooling you, and yeah, but it was tough. I was just being macho about it. But yeah, I remember we had like few breakdown moments. Just some nights coming back home.
Without the baby, you leave the hospital without a child.
Yes.
It's and your child is not. You didn't lose the child. You just can't take the child home. It's
And then the thought of just doing it the following day, like, hey,
Yep.
And I remember, we kept disturbing the doctors. When can she come home? Like,
And they would call, for people who haven't gone through NICU, the doctors will call you every day to give you updates. Like, oh, she gained not 5 pounds, but maybe 1 pound. And she's eating more. I know she slept okay. Or sometimes it be things like, oh, her body temperature went down. So we need to put her in the incubator, they call it, to help her regulate her body temperature. So it was like different things in different days like that. It was just like, wow. I think this video is going to run long, but I really want us to stay true to our story. So we might have part A and part B of this video. We won't take long to upload it, maybe like 2 days after each other. Just wanted to say that disclaimer. Anyways, that's how NICU went for us. Something I want to ask you, Emmanuel, is we live 1 hour away from the hospital because obviously we were living close to the hospital and then we bought this house, so we had to move to this house, which is 1 hour away from the hospital. How was that drive for you? Just knowing you have to wake up every morning, drive your wife who just had a baby to go and see your baby, and then you probably didn't even have time to like process your own emotions because, like you said, you just didn't want me to fall apart. So you were like being strong for me. Like in hindsight, I was like, oh, like were you just let's go, let's go, let's go, or did you actually have time to, when you were alone, maybe taking a shower or something? Did you have time to like think through stuff?
Looking back now, I think, yeah, I'm just in my emotions right now, and it's all coming back.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't get the chance to process all this before. The drive going to the hospital wasn't a big deal. That was very easy because they're like, hey, I'm going to see the baby. Yeah, we're excited. All dressed up. Hey, babe, did you get the new clothes? We need to change our clothes. Yeah. Are we well stocked on
milk?
Milk.
I was pumping from and taking to her. Yeah.
So going to the hospital was very easy. Like we wanted to see her, see what changes, see what growth she's made. So the hardest was just leaving the hospital. I mean, it wasn't like far. I wouldn't say it was too far of a drive for me. But just the emotional aspect of
like
the departure, like, hey baby, good night, we'll see you tomorrow. That was really, really hard. For me. And I know you
we
had
would
a few moments to
we
really
would
like
kiss
break down.
like, oh, we just want to take car. Oh, I'm crying in the parking lot or in the car. But you know when you say it now, God is such a beautiful restore, like He restores, because the Amana we have now doesn't feel like that baby. It feels like we had another baby and we have to keep that to that baby. This Amana we have now is like so perfect, like I can't even. Yeah, she's like I can't. It's like night and day.
Great.
It's just amazing. It's like night and day.
Yeah.
I think what I struggled the most was carrying all of that emotion and trying to explain to people. So we decided not to tell, like we told family and maybe really close friends about having the baby early and stuff. Because we are like authentic, like we're very vulnerable people. We share, stuff with people like we're sharing with you guys right now. But I feel like there was a time for it. And it was just really hard because then you will share with people and just out of being caring, they'll say things like, may God give her perfect health. May God give it. And I'm like, she has perfect health. She was just born early. Like that drove me crazy. Multiple people like how we pray that God will perfect her health. And I'm like, she's not sick. Like, but I mean I didn't tell people. Sometimes I just want to respond to people's messages because I'm like, I just want to be alone. It just made it look like you did something wrong and you had a sick baby. And so, they were almost confessing sickness on her. And I remember one day I broke down. Shout out to Kemi's mom. Kemi's mom came to stay with us. I'm jumping the gun now. After she came, I'll tell you that story. And I broke down with it. I was like, I'm tired of people saying that, can got perfect health. My baby is healthy. She's not sick. She's not, disabled or anything. And like, no sweat, obviously. People who have special needs children or whatever, that wasn't our story. Just like when I got pregnant and people were expecting this sub story of, oh, because we waited for 3 years before having a baby. They were waiting for this story, like basically projecting their life on me. Like, oh, like, did you wait for 3 years to have a baby? I'm like, no, I was on birth control. I didn't wait for 3 years to have a baby. So it was just really, really annoying to me that people just have this, they just project their own stuff on you and decide playing perfect health and stuff. I'm like, I just prefer to come home. It's just she needs to do stuff before she comes home.
Yeah,
and
like just
it is what it is, right?
People make assumptions.
Yeah.
Especially when they don't have like the full details, like the full events. People need to like come out straight.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you want to be caring, just ask questions.
Yeah.
Rather than making assumptions and
Yeah.
looking at it like, hey,
yeah,
you're totally off the mark on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also could come from a place of caring. So it's hard to like but hey, all good vibes.
All good vibes, yeah.
Totally.
In the long
If I was asked,
we didn't lose any friend.
You have a
stop
baby.
talking to anybody.
Yeah, why not?
yeah, definitely. Definitely would have a baby. Before we move on to bringing Amana home, which was probably the happiest day of our life last year, apart from the day we found out we were pregnant with her, I want to talk about just as a parent, which we didn't really get to, I don't want to say mourn, but the fact that we did not have the typical birth story of you have a baby, the baby is full term, you carry the child and come back home, and then you have a new family. We didn't have that, and we haven't had that's our first child, right? So I feel like there's something to say there to acknowledge that we didn't have the regular parenting story. And for us, it was blessing in disguise because we've never had a child. I feel like Amanda staying in the NICU.
I don't think we missed anything.
Help us figure things out.
I think this is the best way to
we slept well before she came home and we arranged ourselves.
I don't think we missed much because if I was told to like, hey,
pick.
I'll go with that route.
We'll pick NICU.
It was stressful.
When there's no
doubt.
complications.
It was stressful, but like when Amanda came home, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's when we started, like, the actual parenting started. Like the sleepless nights.
Yeah.
We were both on paternity and maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't even feel like we're on leave.
Yeah.
Like, you're working, like, day and night, back to back.
She will not sleep. You have to hold her. until she sleeps. And then you're holding her, you can't sleep because you don't want to sleep. And when you sleep, your body goes loose and then she will fall. So we were just, it's like,
you have to be awake.
Yeah, you have to be awake. It's like
once
we were running shifts.
She begins to cry.
Yeah, I'm like, is this the same NICU baby? She used to sleep in the hospital. Like, what happened?
Up until now, it's still a struggle. It's still.
Yeah, I mean, you still pay our dues as parents, but it's not as bad.
She sleeps well,
scare people, but
you still have to cuddle, hold her consistently, and then drop her gently.
Yeah, she does want to be babied. Like she knows she's a baby and she wants to be babied. Let's talk about the happiest day of our lives.
So the day we were
December 2nd, I will never forget.
So the doctor the daily regular check-ins that we have, and they called us in the morning. So Amanda is doing great. She's doing fantastic.
She drank 100% of a bottle.
We started bottle feeding. She finished everything in minutes.
Yeah.
I think you guys can come take her today.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, what? What did you say?
Yeah. She can go. I was
yeah, we think she can go. Like, what? Really? I think you guys will prep us, give us 3 days. Okay, she'll be ready to go in 2 days. Yeah. 3 days. Yeah. They're like, hey, bring your car seats. Yeah. She needs to pass the car seat test. And you guys can take her home. Yeah. Yeah. We looked at each other. We're like, oh, we need to clean the house. We need to hire somebody to clean the house. The nursery was not done. We're just like, oh my God. We even told the doctor, can we take her tomorrow? They were like, oh no. All the paperwork are in. Everything discharge is ready. You need to go. And I was like, oh my God. So from one day to the next, we're like fools during the discharge. I'm glad the nurse were like, will this child be okay with these two fools? Because we literally were like fools. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. We just got her in the cassette and bought her because she was so tiny too. I mean, she was not too tiny for a NICU baby. She was about 4 pounds going on 5. I think she was like going on 6 when she came home. No. She was going to 5. Going on 5 when she came home. And so she wasn't too small or anything. But shout out to Kemi's mom. Shout out to Kemi's mom. Kemi. She literally came to our house and stayed with us. These guys had no idea. We were clueless. She helped us bathe Amana. She literally did everything. And even on the day of the naming ceremony, supported. And then we ended up hiring a nanny. We lived with us for a while until we figured stuff out. So that's just our whole idea, our whole journey. And we hadn't at that point. I don't think we had stepped into postpartum. We were just trying to survive. Oh, we have a child. We need to keep her alive. We need to do everything she needs. Yeah. We're not necessarily saying, oh, this is postpartum or whatever. And I think that phase passed. The nanny really helped. And I think around January, thereabout 20, that was when I was like, okay, this is postpartum. Yep. Let's begin the journey of recovery. Sumi, you had a baby. How do we get yourself back? How do you get your mind back? How do you go back to I'll never go back to the Sumi I used to know, let's just be honest. But how do you redefine this new composition that you have and become this new person, the best version of this new person? And that was when postpartum started. I think it's safe to end it here for part 1. For part 1. Yeah. So part 2 will pick up the whole postpartum, post-NICU story. Yep. And all the things we do, we are still doing to help us through that phase, through that journey. Yeah. So if you guys want to just stay tuned, check out the content, and subscribe, share, and like. Yep. See you guys on the second episode. Yeah. Bye.